21 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, it's time for round number 19 of 21 here at the Circuit of the Americas for the American Grand Prix. Guys, a episode I'm very excited for. The Circuit of the Americas track has not been really a track that I've been good at in the past, but I want to turn over a new leaf and I want to see if I can get something going for myself this weekend here at COTA. But guys, heading to the performance chart, it is still Mercedes leading the way from Red Bull, who are now the second best team according to paper. Ferrari are in P3, but those top three teams are very close together. We are still the leading car when it gets to the midfield, but the midfield are closing up really quickly with Racing Point in 5th, Williams in 6th, Alfa Romeo Racing 7th, Renault in 8th, McLaren 9th, and Toro Rosso in 10th. Here you guys can see just a little bit in practice, a few of my practice blunders. I know some of you guys have commented in the previous videos that you actually like to see these practice blunders of mine. This is not a particularly big one, it's just a little spin in the middle sector of the track. A very hard place to get traction. It's a traction zone and I was a little bit too eager on the throttle as we went through the corners. But guys, it is now time for qualifying and let's see if we can pull a rabbit out of the hat here at COTA and have a better weekend than the previous one at Mexico. Let's head to qualifying.
It's time for today's qualifying session to begin here in the United States. Welcome to the Circuit of the Americas. I was looking at some highlights of previous races here, and the one thing that really stood out to me was the run down to turn 1. It's not an easy one to navigate as everyone is scrapping to get into there first.
It's the scene of many incidents as drivers jostle for position. You have to make a choice between going for it and self-preservation. There's no point in going in hot if you don't come out intact the other side. Even if you're at the front, you will be worrying about the guys behind you.
Guys, jumping straight into qualifying, now I'm going to ask you to please be a legend and drop a like down below. It's only going to take you 2 seconds. Guys, heading into qualifying, I had high hopes for this weekend. The Haas car, even though this is mainly a power and chassis circuit and the Haas not having the best chassis.
Checks complete. All personnel be aware, we have a car leaving.
Okie dokes. But in any case, I knew that my high horsepower engine was going to help me a lot around COTA because there's a lot of high speed sections on this track. So I was feeling very confident this weekend, and I have to say the car felt amazing here around COTA. For those of you guys that still haven't clicked now, Circuit of the Americas, COTA for short. I hope you click it now. In any case, guys, out of Q1, it's Norris, Kubica, Magnussen, and the 2 Toro Rosso drivers. So, heading into Q2, I knew the car would get into Q2 quite easily. Getting the car into Q3 was going to be a much larger struggle due to the midfield really quickly catching up to us come the end of the season.
Standing by.
Thank you, Jeff, once again. Guys, heading to the end of our first lap of Q2, you guys know I always use the scrubbed set of tires that I use in Q1. Setting our first lap, having a little bit of a big moment coming out of the final corner, a little bit of a tank slapper. Going over the line, it's 1.2 seconds slower than Charles Leclerc, who at that stage was the quickest driver on track. I thought the car had the pace to get it to Q3 on the mediums. So I took my chances, took a little bit of a gamble, and I went out on the medium tires. But yeah, this was a mistake. As you guys see, I am not able to better my lap even though my first lap was on a scrubbed set of soft tires. So the mediums really aren't a quality tire. So we went back to the garage, strapped on a brand new set of soft tires, went out, and as you guys can see, heading through the final corner, we are more than a second up on our time already, and it's enough to get us all the way up into P7. So that I was really proud of. You guys can see we are with Pierre Gasly, one of the Red Bulls. So we're really pushing hard this episode, guys. Remember, my rivalry is still with Red Bull, so I really have to try and take it to those guys, even though my car is actually at this stage a fair bit amount worse than theirs when it comes to overall pace. In any case, guys, I'm going in for our first lap here in Q3. Scrap set of tires once again. It's actually the same set that I used in Q1 and Q2. So this set of tires went through all 3 quali sessions, but that is supposed to tell you guys that that lap was absolute garbage.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 32.3.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, please Be legends. Go follow me on all my social media platforms. They popped up on screen as we were speaking. It's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Please go give me a follow there. I would highly appreciate that. Guys, heading out for our final lap in Q3. We're going around a lap here of this brilliant circuit of the Americas. And guys, unfortunately I'm going to cut out the S section because the recording was really wonky going through the S section. So you guys can see it's going to fade further on into the lap. But heading through the first corner, you can brake really late because it's that uphill section of the track. So it really brushes off speed of the car as you hit the brakes. So you can really be late onto the brakes and still make the corner quite effectively. So there you really have to have the guts. Heading onto this very, very long back straight here at Kota. This straight always feels excellent because you always go over at least 330 kilometers an hour. Heading into the braking zone coming at the end of the straight. There's also, I wouldn't call it a hairpin, but it's more than a 90-degree left-hander. Through the left-hander, now into the very, very technical part of the track, the most technical part of the track. Going through here, guys, ease it onto the throttle. Don't just mash the throttle because you will spin out. Second gear to clip the curb on the inside. Open up the throttle as early as possible. Heading through this flat-out, constant right-hander, the quadruple right-hander, into the fast-sweeping left-handed kink. Fifth gear, bounce the car over the curb. I run a bit wide going through there, but I do not exceed track limits. Through the final quarter, clip the curb on the inside. I have a big kick of oversteer. We cross the line and With
qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three. Hamilton, Bottas and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
I think so as well. Guys, we are right behind Pierre Gasly. The car is basically where it sits on the R&D chart. So let's see what happens in this American Grand Prix.
In 2012, America's on-again, off-again love affair with Formula One finally seemed to settle down with the completion of this wonderful racing facility here in Texas. Since then, we've been treated to some incredible races, including, of course, that classic wet-dry championship decider of 2015. We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, around the 20 corners of the wonderful Circuit of the Americas. We'll be reaching speeds of around 200 miles an hour, and there are plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the two DRS zones into turn 1 and the very long back straight into turn 12. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Now, I want to talk to you about Valtteri Bottas. They need 7th or better to ensure they stay in contention for the championship. Anything outside of that, and their fate is no longer in their hands.
The key now will be to keep in the right mindset. We've seen time and again that things go wrong if you just try and do the minimum. Not necessarily because of the pressure, but because it's different to your usual approach. They'll need to avoid that and stay focused today.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Pierre Gasly, O'Connor, Weber, Verstappen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Russell and Kimi Raikkonen, Grosjean, Butler, Norris, Robert Kubica and Kevin Magnussen. Albon and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today.
Well, that is quite a big task to achieve, but guys, it's very much achievable. I think we've got to have a good race here at Kota as long as we don't make stupid mistakes. But guys, you guys know the drill by now. Please jam with me on the formation lap, and please hit that subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding the bell. Yeah. you guys ready for the American Grand Prix? P6 on the grid. There was a penalty that moved us forward thanks to Max Verstappen. We head to 5 red lights and it's go, go, go for the American Grand Prix. Mercedes front row lockout, Ferrari on the second row. Guys, you guys see we move to the inside on the first corner. It is Hamilton leading the way from Bottas. We go for a massive dive up the inside of Sebastian Vettel and actually of Pierre Gasly. We are now right behind Bottas and Leclerc. We give Leclerc a little bit of wide elbows and we get ourselves into P3. So we have jumped one of the Red Bulls and both the Ferraris heading into the first section of the track. But guys, I know I'm not going to be able to hold up the pace of the front runners as long as I would have liked to. That is next season's problem. But in any case, guys, leading the way at this stage, it is Lewis Hamilton leading the way from Bottas and myself in P3. Let's jump back to my slot so you guys can see what I did. I was very aggressive into T1. I was led to the brakes. Overshot it a little bit. I made a slight bit of contact with Vettel, and as you guys see coming out of the corner, I get the power down much earlier than Leclerc and Bottas. And heading into the S's, Leclerc just left the door wide open and I followed Bottas straight through. In my case, that's one of the best moves I've made this season thus far. So I'm really proud of that maneuver. So we are in P3, Hamilton leading the way from Bottas in P2. But the chances of me sticking with Bottas, yeah, not big. Not big at all. Guys, once again, I remind you that Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel are the two championship rivals at this stage. Guys, I want to see if I can actually stay with the mix, but if I can't, I'll just let the Ferraris through. You guys can see I'm already needed to go defensive as we head down the backstretch for the very first time of this American GP. You guys can see Leclerc's actually under pressure from his teammate Sebastian Vettel. So Leclerc is really going to have to be on his toes for this race. Guys, remember Vettel is in the championship fight and Vettel really has to have a good Grand Prix because Bottas is slowly but surely eking away as Vettel's leading gap in the points at this stage. You guys see Vettel is on the outside as we go through the very technical sector 2, but Leclerc is going to give him the squeeze. They're going to be side by side heading through the quadruple right-hander. It is Leclerc on the outside, Vettel on the inside, but Vettel backs out of it. I think that was the smart thing to do from Sebastian's side. I think Mattia Bonotto will pop a gasket if these two Ferraris take each other out here at the American GP. A track where both the Ferraris are actually very strong. Well, where Ferrari is very strong. You guys see, heading on to the end of the very next lap, Charles Leclerc is right back behind me. And guys, at this stage I realized there was really going to be no point in trying to keep them up, but I was fearing those two Red Bulls behind the Ferraris, so I actually fought with them to try and stay with them so that the Red Bulls could not touch me, because as you guys know at this stage Romain Grosjean is not supporting me in the battle with the Red Bulls, so I'm fighting this battle alone. So the longer I could stay ahead of the Ferraris, the better for my case. But as you guys see, heading onto the back straight once again, it is actually Leclerc and then Vettel behind me. But guys, it was on this lap, I think it's lap 4, I just decided there's no point in me holding up my senior sister team. I was just going to have to let them through, or actually it's not the lap that I let them through, now that I see. I can see Vettel is going for a move on Charles Leclerc. Guys, this might be lap 3. I know I let them through, I think, on lap 4. Because, like I said, there was no point in me holding them up. My race was not with them. It was, well, with the Red Bulls. But in any case, guys, heading through the very technical section, Vettel now takes P4 away from his teammate. And I think Vettel is going to go after me. Guys, this is lap 4. This is where I can confirm where I led the two Ferrari teammates past me. There was a little gap to the Red Bulls, which I actually monitored behind me. So I saw that this was the best possible chance to actually let them go past. And besides, the Ferraris are much better in a straight line than the Red Bulls. So yeah, as you guys see, I let Vettel pass. I let Leclerc pass. There was no reason for me holding them up, and I could just let them run away with this and defend from the Red Bulls and see if I can stay ahead of those two Red Bull drivers. But for now, we are down all the way to P5. It's still a position up on where we started, but as you guys know, according to the performance chart, we are the 4th best car. So actually where we need to finish, according to the R&D, is basically in P7. But do you guys think I'm going to let that fly with these two Red Bulls behind me? No. I've gotten myself in the position to fight them both in the championship for the remainder of the season. So even though my car is slower by a big factor, I'm still going to make sure that I fight with these two. You guys see Gasly is very low onto the brakes. He goes for a massive dive up the inside. He makes contact with me. I didn't expect that at all. And wow. Okay, that really startled me. Gasly was on the brakes. You guys see, it's as if he just let go of his brake pedal. And he just slammed me from the side. Wow, okay, Gasly is really, really aggressive. You guys see, heading onto the straight, he passes me into the very tight hairpin as we head onto the back straight. And now he's going to have DRS, because the DRS detection is as you go through that little kink down to the hairpin. So now I'm going to show you guys how good the engine in the back of my horse really is. We can pull up alongside Pierre Gasly, even with him having DRS, and defend our P5 with a smile on our face. And most probably Gasly hitting the steering wheel of his car due to frustration. Because guys, I was like a mobile chicane. They just couldn't get past me. It was really fun to actually do that. I know you usually use the term mobile chicane when you overlap a car, but I think I felt like a mobile chicane that they just couldn't get through. And I was really doing my job very well at this stage. You guys see the two Ferraris are still battling away, and now you guys see we are on the POV of Max Verstappen, who is right behind his teammate Pierre Gasly, who obviously is right behind me. Now heading onto the back straight once again, with these two will have DRS on me, but I think Max is just like Gasly, you're not getting anything done. Give me a turn, my friend, give me a turn. Max Verstappen pulls right alongside Pierre Gasly, heading into the very tight corner at the end of the back straight. It is Max Verstappen on the inside, Gasly on the outside. Gasly is going to hang in there. Go, Christian Horner, where's your team orders, man? You need to let your main guy through, and that is Verstappen. Heading to the technical section, Gasly defends from Max Verstappen, and now I think also Max is going to start hitting his steering wheel. But guys, it is now time for the first pit stops, and the first car diving into the pit lane is Charles Leclerc. So guys, I know Ferrari are on a 2-stop, because this is a very, very early pit stop, and even if they go on to hards, which I don't think they will, let's see what Charles Leclerc puts on his car. And it's a second set of soft tires, so Ferrari have committed Leclerc to the 2-stop. But guys, the 2-stop here around Kota can be very effective, but the 1-stop in my opinion is actually more effective. Before I keep talking about that, guys, keep an eye, oh no, don't keep an eye, remember this Williams of Robert Kubica. Just remember that Williams, there's a reason I'm showing that. In any case, guys, the very next lap you guys can see Vettel is now also committing basically to the 2-stop. Guys, one thing that I did realize later on in the race is that basically I cost Ferrari this Grand Prix. The Mercedes got such a gap on us within those 4 laps, and also Ferrari just kept battling the whole time. So yeah, I cost them, but also they cost themselves. I know that sounds really weird, but I cost them the first 4 laps, and the rest of the race they cost it themselves. Because yeah, they basically fought for most of this Grand Prix. You guys are still going to see how much they fight. I come out just ahead of Toro Rosso as we exit our pit box, and guys, we are on the hard tires going to the end of the Grand Prix. I was not taking any chances with the 2-stop. I wanted to get the undercut on all the cars that were going for the 2-stop, or the 1-stop going from softs to mediums. But these hard tires are actually not too bad around Circuit of the Americas. And remember guys, I told you to keep an eye on that Williams. Did you guys see who was behind me as I exited the pit lane? Wonderful Robert Kubica, and behind him was his teammate George Russell. So they were on a similar strategy to mine. They were on soft tires going for a 2-stop, but they had a massive undercut on the rest of the field. So yeah. Now let's take a look at the 2 Ferraris as they make their way through the rest of the field, getting themselves back into the positions that they were. Even though I held them up for 4 laps, guys, they were still, as soon as I let them go, these 2 Ferraris, while fighting one another, were immensely fast. So yeah, the Ferrari, in my opinion, is still the car to beat. Even I just think Mercedes were dominating because they had clean air. And obviously you guys know Hamilton, when he's ahead in a Grand Prix, you're not going to catch him easily. But now it is time for the race leaders pit stop. You guys see Hamilton dives into the pit lane as Valtteri Bottas stays out for 1 more lap. Hamilton into his pit box, going onto a set of medium tires. And guys, I can tell you guys now, they were going for the 1-stop all the way to the end of the Grand Prix, because those soft tires were stretched immensely long. So Mercedes are going to the end of the Grand Prix. You guys can see there Max Verstappen, one of the cars who is my rival in this race, is now diving into the pit lane, and it is now Max Verstappen along with one of the Alfa Romeos actually. I think that maybe Kimi Raikkonen with him in the pit lane, but we're only looking at Max Verstappen, guys, to see if we actually get ahead of Max. As you guys see, the pit lane is quite heavy at this stage of the race. Well, heavy busy at this stage of the race. We go on to Max's POV, and as you guys see, there is myself and both the Williams drivers going past, as well as one of the Racing Point drivers, and I think that was Lucas Weber. I saw a quick glimpse of an ugly helmet, so that's Lucas Weber, definitely. Guys, heading on to a little bit further to the race, Sebastian Vettel has caught back up to the back end of Charles Leclerc, and they are both now trying to overtake the McLaren, I think of Lando Norris. I didn't see the number on the car. The bright yellow helmet, yes, that is Lando Norris, not Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz is not even in this career mode anymore, excuse that, Devon Butler. But in any case, you guys can see Charles Leclerc goes around the outside, and basically him and Lando act like a blockage towards Sebastian Vettel, and that is Charles Leclerc up another position with Lando now down one. In any case, guys, heading on to the very end of the next lap, it is now Valtteri Bottas diving into the pit lane to come onto his set of medium tyres, which he, just like his teammate Lewis Hamilton, will run till the end of the Grand Prix. Now, as you guys see, Mercedes really, they had the icing on the cake with the cherry and everything, because this race was basically given to them. Excuse that little bit of jumpy replay, guys. That's my recording system on my PlayStation. There's nothing I can do about that. So excuse that little jump in the replay. In any case, guys, you guys can see I am still under pressure from the two Williams cars. Reason being, I'm on the hard compound and they are on fresh soft compound. You guys can see Kubica tries to move around the outside of the uphill first corner, but I'm early onto the brakes and get the power down quicker than him, so I keep my horse in the position that I currently am in. I can't even remember where I am in now that the pit stops have been done. You guys can see actually Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly are quite a few cars behind. So I had a nice little blockade between myself and the two Red Bulls. But guys, let's quickly run through the top 10. This is Lewis Hamilton leading the way by 1.5 miles from his teammate Valtteri Bottas. I don't think Bottas has got an answer towards Lewis, so Valtteri is in P2. But if things keep going like this, he's going to have a very, very solid amount of points on Vettel. Charles Leclerc in P3 with Sebastian Vettel at P4. So it's Mercedes 1-2, Ferrari 3-4. Myself in P5 for Rich Energy Haas Racing. 6th place Robert Kubica. 7th place George Russell. 8th place is Lucas Weber. 9th place Max Verstappen, and in 10th place it's actually Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo racing car, but right behind him is Pierre Gasly, which I'm sure is going to make short work of that Alfa Romeo as soon as he gets a chance. But you guys can see I am leading this little train. All of these guys are basically on softer compound tires, that's why they're sticking with me, and my tires are only going to come into a bigger effect further on in the Grand Prix, close to the end, due to me going for a very, very, conservative strategy. That's the word I was looking for, conservative strategy. So I'm really looking forward to how this race pans out. But at this stage, guys, Ferrari are still busy throwing this race away due to fighting with one another and not focusing on chasing Mercedes. They are already committed to the two-stop, so they actually needed to try and chase Mercedes down. But Vettel and Leclerc were out for blood. They were out for the color that the Ferrari is, and they were fighting as if there was no aim. But guys, Charles Leclerc is the first car to come into the pit lane. As Vettel rounds the final corner, Charles cuts in and goes into the pit lane to complete his two-stop strategy, and I'm actually pretty sure he's going to go onto a set of medium tires. Let's quickly see, guys, into the pit lane, and yes, it is the yellow-walled medium tires. I think Charles is going for the undercut on Vettel. I think personally Ferrari should prioritize Vettel, not Leclerc, but you guys know this is the video game, not reality. Something like team orders does not exist, even though we always talk about team orders in the videos or the F1 2019 content creators, because it makes commentating a little easier. In any case, guys, Vettel goes into his set of fresh medium tires, and now he is running to the end just like his teammate. Let's see who gets out ahead of which Ferrari is going to be the car that Ferrari wants to get P3. Charles Leclerc is over the start finish line. There is Vettel coming out of the pit lane. So at this stage the undercut has not worked for Charles Leclerc. It has worked, the overcut has worked, a dime for Sebastian Vettel. But come the end of a few laps later, guys, Charles Leclerc is still right behind Vettel. And as we head down the hill, the main straight, or actually up the main straight, because it's basically uphill the whole way, it just gets very steep as we head to the first corner. Charles dives to the inside. He is on the inside of Sebastian Vettel, and there he goes. He gets P3 back from his teammate. And guys, Vettel really needs to get P3 in this Grand Prix, otherwise it's really going to be bad for his championship against Valtteri Bottas, who is already guaranteed to finish ahead of him unless he encounters a problem, which I don't think is going to happen because it's a Mercedes. How often does Mercedes encounter problems? Not much. In any case, guys, jumping back to a little bit of my race, we are still battling away with both the Red Bull cars. Obviously, guys, all the other cars that were in that group pitted for their second pit stop because most of them were on soft tires, some of them were on mediums. So we were just eking it out, making sure we stayed ahead, making sure we made enough time in Sector 1 to stay ahead when this back straight came. In any case, guys, once again, Charles Leclerc goes into, I don't know where Vettel overtook him again, but Charles Leclerc is back up into P3, and as you guys see, this is actually, I think, Pierre Gasly trying to overtake me once again, or is it Max? No, it is Pierre Gasly, so at some stage, guys, also Pierre Gasly made a move on Max Verstappen. You guys can see I'm very aggressive. I forced Pierre Gasly to bounce his car over the inside curbs at the end of the back straight, so I was really not taking any prisoners at this stage, and once again Ferrari are battling away like two nincompoops because they do not realize that the more they battle, the more they are ruining their race. It's probably awesome for the fans to see the two Ferrari drivers going at it like this, but for the championship sakes and for the rest of the race sakes, yeah. Guys, so basically you guys can take it to the bank. Mercedes are going to get a 1-2 year in America, but the battle between myself and both the Red Bull drivers are really heated. As you guys see, there goes Pierre Gasly up by inside. I tried to make a cutback move, and now it's a drag race. Rich Energy Haas v Red Bull Racing. Guys, look at the beautiful Ferrari power in the back of my car as I pull out from under the Honda-powered Red Bull of Pierre Gasly, and even with him having DRS, there's nothing he can do about it. And also Max Verstappen is going to have to be very careful because right behind him lurking is the very ugly helmet of Lucas Weber. But guys, that has been this American Grand Prix. Mercedes have dominated this Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton has dominated this Grand Prix. He rounds the final corner on his yellow walled medium tires to cross the line to win the American Grand Prix for Mercedes-Benz. It was a dominant performance from Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas will get P2. I'm sure he's very glad about that because that's very good for his championship sakes. And now in P3, will it be Leclerc or will it be Vettel? We go through the final time for the quadruple right-hander, and at this stage it's the number 16 of Charles Leclerc ahead of his teammate Sebastian Vettel. Those one-lap pressure tires proved dividends come the end of this Grand Prix, and Charles Leclerc will take P3 for Scuderia Ferrari, and I think Vettel in P4 is going to cry within his cockpit. In any case, guys, we go back to my battle, guys. The battle with myself and the two Red Bulls are still not over, but guys, I don't think there's anything that Pierre Gasly or Max Verstappen could do about me. A full defensive race from my side, from start till finish, and this, guys, I'm not gonna lie, was an epic Grand Prix. We take P5, and this is just what we needed for a confidence booster heading into Brazil. Yeah, baby, P5!
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So let's review the updated driver standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, for me it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the boring choice at this point, but you can't argue that he's a driver deserving of his reputation.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. It's looking like the championship is already won. Do you think there's still time for this to change? Do you think your rival... That was a close finish. How are things between the two of you? Great. Well, that's everything.
Guys, what an American Grand Prix. Guys, defensive literally from the second lap, basically. After Ferrari fought their fight at within the first lap, I was on defense constantly for the rest of this Grand Prix. I worked my strategy to the utmost perfection, and I managed to finish ahead of both of the Red Bulls in P5. After Brazil and Japan, yeah, I really badly needed this as a confidence booster. I'm glad. This was just epic.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
That I agree with completely, Jeff. Oh my word, that was just absolutely epic. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please go down below, leave a like. It's only going to take you 2 seconds. Hit the subscribe. Don't forget to ding the bell to have all your F4 2019 and Dirt 4 needs met. Guys, thank you so much for staying till the end. This has been an epic Grand Prix. 2 rounds to go. Guys, Brazil and Abu Dhabi, this season is going to end very highly. You guys see the battle between Vettel and Bottas and my battle with the Red Bulls? It's gonna get heated. So please, stay tuned and I'll see y'all next time. Cheers!